Real Madrid Club de Fútbol, meaning Royal Madrid Football Club, commonly referred to as Real Madrid, is a Spanish professional football club based in Madrid. Founded in 1902 as Madrid Football Club, the club has traditionally worn a white home kit since its inception. The honorific title Real is Spanish for royal and was bestowed to the club by King Alfonso XIII in 1920 together with the royal crown in the emblem. Real Madrid have played their home matches in the 81,044 capacity Santiago Bernabéu Stadium in downtown Madrid since 1947. Unlike most European sporting entities, Real Madrid's members have owned and operated the club throughout its history. Real Madrid is one of the most widely supported teams internationally. The club was estimated to be worth $5.1 billion in 2022. Making it the world's most valuable football team. In 2021, it was the second highest earning football club in the world, with an annual revenue of €640.70 million, being one of the three founding members of La Liga that have never been relegated from the top division since its inception in 1929. Real Madrid holds many long-standing rivalries, most notably El Clásico with Barcelona and El Derbi Madrileno with Atlético Madrid. The club established itself as a major force in both Spanish and European football during the 1950s and 60s, winning 5 consecutive and 6 overall European Cups and reaching a further 2 finals. This success was replicated on the domestic front, with Madrid winning 12 league titles in the span of 16 years. This team, which included Alfredo Di Stefano, Ferenc Puskás, Francisco Gento, and Raymond Kopa, is considered by some in the sport to be the greatest of all time. In domestic football, the club has won 68 trophies, a record 35 La Liga titles, 19 Copa del Rey, 12 Supercopa de España, a Copa Eva Duarte, and a Copa de la Liga. In European football, Real Madrid have won a record 21 trophies, a record 14 European Cup/UEFA Champions League titles, 2 UEFA Cups, and a record 5 UEFA Super Cups. In worldwide competitions, they have achieved a record 7 Club World Championships. Real Madrid was recognized as the FIFA Club of the 20th century on December 11, 2000 with 42.35% of the vote, and received the FIFA Centennial Order of Merit on May 20, 2004. The club was also named Best European Club of the 20th Century by the IFS on May 11, 2010. In June 2017, Madrid succeeded in becoming the first club to win consecutive titles in the Champions League era. In May 2022, they won a record-extending 14th European Cup, making it 5 titles in the last 9 seasons. As of May 2022, Real Madrid are ranked 4th behind Bayern Munich, Manchester City, and Liverpool in the UEFA club rankings. History. Early years. Real Madrid's origins go back to when football was introduced to Madrid by the academics and students of the Institution Libre de Enseñanza, which included several Cambridge and Oxford University graduates. They founded Sky Football in 1897, commonly known as La Sociedad as it was the only one based in Madrid, playing on Sunday mornings at Moncloa. In 1900, conflict between members caused some of them to leave and create a new club, Nueva Sociedad de Fútbol, to distinguish themselves from Sky Football. Among the dissenters were Julian Palacios, recognized as the first Real Madrid president, Juan Pedros, and Carlos Pedros, the latter two being brothers and future presidents of Real Madrid. In 1901, this new club was renamed as Madrid Football Club. Later, following a restructuring in 1902, Sky was renamed as New Football Club. On March 6, 1902, after a new board presided by Juan Pedros had been elected, Madrid Football Club was officially founded. The Pedros brothers summoned other football enthusiasts to a meeting in the back room of Al Capricho, the family business. They viewed football as a mass sport that should be accessible to representatives of all social classes, and thought the new club should embody that idea. The brothers proposed the name, Madrid Football Club, which was unanimously accepted. The membership fee was also set, 2 pesetas a month, and the color of the shirt was chosen to be white in honor of a famous English team, Corinthian FC, which Juan Pedros had met on one of his trips. 3 years after its founding, in 1905, Madrid FC won its first title after defeating Athletic Bilbao in the Spanish Cup final. The club became one of the founding sides of the Royal Spanish Football Federation on January 4, 1909, when club president Adolfo Melendez signed the foundation agreement of the Spanish FA. After moving between several grounds, the team relocated to the Campo de O'Donnell in 1912. In 1920, the club's name was changed to Real Madrid after King Alfonso XIII granted the title of Real to the club. In 1929, the first Spanish football league was founded. Real Madrid led the first league season until the last match, a loss to Athletic Bilbao, meant they finished runners-up to Barcelona. Real Madrid won its first league title in the 1931-32 season and retained it the following year. On April 14, 1931, the arrival of the Second Spanish Republic caused the club to lose the title Real and the royal crown on its emblem, going back to being named Madrid Football Club until the end of the Spanish Civil War. Football continued during the Second World War, and on June 13, 1943, Madrid beat Barcelona 11-1 in the second leg of the Copa del Generalísimo semi-finals, the Spanish Cup having been renamed in honor of General Franco. The first leg, played at the Les Corts in Catalonia, had ended with Barcelona winning 3-0. Madrid complained about all the 3 goals that referee Fombona Fernandez had allowed for Barcelona, with the home supporters also whistling Madrid throughout, whom they accused of employing roughhouse tactics, and Fombona for allowing them to. The newspaper reported the whistling as a clear intention to attack the representatives of Spain. Barcelona fans were banned from traveling to Madrid. The day of the second leg, the Barcelona team were insulted and stones were thrown at their bus as soon as they left their hotel. Barcelona's striker Mariano Gonçalves said of the incident, 5 minutes before the game had started, our penalty area was already full of coins. Barcelona goalkeeper Luis Miro rarely approached his line when he did, he was armed with stones. As Francisco Calvet told the story, they were shouting, "Reds! Separatists!" A bottle just missed Sospdra that would have killed him if it had hit him. It was all set up. Real Madrid went 2-0 up within half an hour. The third goal brought with it a sending off for Barcelona's Benito Garcia after he made what Calvet claimed was a completely normal tackle. Madrid's José López Corona recalled, at which point, they got a bit demoralized, while Angel Moore countered, at which point, we thought, go on then, score as many as you want. Madrid made it 8-0 by halftime. 2 goals were also ruled out for offside, and proceeded to score a further 3 goals in the second half, to which Barcelona replied with a late consolation goal. According to football writer Sid Lowe, there have been relatively few mentions of the game and it is not a result that has been particularly celebrated in Madrid. Indeed, the 11-1 occupies a far more prominent place in Barcelona's history. This was the game that first formed the identification of Madrid as the team of the dictatorship and Barcelona as its victims. Fernando Arguila, Barcelona's reserve goalkeeper from the 1943 match, said, "There was no rivalry. Not, at least, until that game." Santiago Bernabéu, an unprecedented success. Santiago Bernabéu became president of Real Madrid in 1943. Under his presidency, the club was rebuilt after the Civil War, and he oversaw the construction of the club's current stadium, Estadio Real Madrid Club de Fútbol, and its training facilities Ciudad Deportiva. Additionally, During the 1950s, former Real Madrid amateurs player Miguel Malbo founded Real Madrid's youth academy, or cantera, known today as La Fábrica. Beginning in 1953, he embarked upon a strategy of signing world-class players from abroad, the most prominent being Alfredo Di Stefano. In 1955, acting upon the idea proposed by Gabriel Hanot, a French sports journalist and editor of L'Équipe, Bernabéu, Bedrignan, and Gustave Sebes created the European Cup, a continental tournament for the league champions around Europe, which is today known as the UEFA Champions League. It was under Bernabéu's guidance that Real Madrid established itself as a major force in both Spanish and European football. The club won the European Cup 5 times in a row between 1956 and 1960, which included the 7-3 Hampden Park final against Eintracht Frankfurt in 1960. After these 5 consecutive successes, Real was permanently awarded the original cup and earned the right to wear the UEFA Badge of Honor. Real Madrid's achievements in Europe were built upon its unprecedented domestic dominance, with the club winning 12 league titles out of 16 possible from 1953-54 to 1968-69, including a 5-in-a-row sequence in 1961-65, and finishing runners-up a further 3 times. The club won the European Cup for a 6th time in 1966. Defeating Partizan Belgrade 2-1 in the final with a team composed entirely of same nationality players, a first in the competition. This team became known as the Yet. The name Yet came from the Yet chorus in the Beatles' song She Loves You, after 4 members of the team posed for Marca and impersonated the Beatles. The Yet generation was also European Cup runners-up in 1962 and 1964. In the 1970s, Real Madrid won 6 league championships and 3 Spanish Cups. The club competed in its first European Cup Winners' Cup in 1970-71 and progressed all the way to the final, where it lost to English side Chelsea 2-1 in a replay. On July 2, 1978, club president Santiago Bernabéu died while the World Cup was being played in Argentina. FIFA decreed 3 days of mourning to honor him during the tournament. The following year, the club organized the first edition of the Trofeo Santiago Bernabéu in memory of its former president. Bernabéu had been Real Madrid's president for almost 35 years, during which his club won 1 Intercontinental Cup, 6 European Cups, 16 league titles, 6 Spanish Cups, 2 Latin Cups, and 1 Copa Eva Duarte. Quinta del Bader and sustained success. In the early 1980s, Real Madrid had lost its grasp on the Liga title until a new cohort of homegrown stars brought domestic success back to the club. Spanish sport journalist Julio César Iglesias gave to this generation the name La Quinta del Bader, which was derived from the nickname given to one of its members, Emilio Butragueño. The other 4 members were Manolo Sanchis, Martin Vázquez, Michel, and Miguel Pardeza. All 5 footballers were graduates of Real Madrid's youth academy. With La Quinta del Bader and notable players like goalkeeper Francisco Bayo, right-back Miguel Porlinchendu and Mexican striker Hugo Sanchez, Real Madrid had one of the best teams in Spain and Europe during the second half of the 1980s, winning 2 UEFA Cups, 5 Spanish championships in a row, 1 Spanish Cup, and 3 Spanish Super Cups. In the early 1990s, La Quinta del Bader split up after Martin Vázquez, Emilio Butragueño, and Michel left the club. In 1996, President Lorenzo Sanz appointed Fabio Capello as coach. Although his tenure lasted only 1 season, Real Madrid were proclaimed league champions, and players like Predrag Mijatovic, Davor Uker, Clarence Seedorf, Roberto Carlos and keeper Bodo Illner, arrived at the club to strengthen a squad that already boasted the likes of Raúl, Fernando Hierro, and Fernando Redondo. As a result, Real Madrid finally ended its 32-year wait for its 7th European Cup, in 1998, under manager Jupp Heynckes, they defeated Juventus 1-0 in the final with a goal from Mijatovic. In November 1999, Vicente Del Bosque took over as coach. For the last season of the century, 1999-2000, the squad was still led by the older veterans such as Fernando Hierro, Fernando Redondo, Roberto Carlos, and Raúl González. Real added the budding young talents of Fernando Morientes, Guti, and Iker Casillas, supported by the arrival of Steve McManaman and Nicolas Anelka from the English Premier League, alongside local talents Michel Salgado and Ivan Hilgera. In Del Bosque's first season in charge, Real won the Champions League for the 8th time, following a 3-0 victory over Valencia in the final, with goals from Morientes, McManaman, and Raúl. This victory marked the beginning of a successful period in Real Madrid's history. Florentino Perez era. In July 2000, Florentino Perez was elected club president. He vowed in his campaign to erase the club's €270 million debt and modernize the club's facilities. However, the primary electoral promise that propelled Perez to victory was the signing of Luis Figo from arch-rivals Barcelona. The following year, the club had its training ground rezoned and used the money to begin assembling the Galacticos team by signing a global star every summer, which included Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldo, Luis Figo, David Beckham, and Fabio Cannavaro. It is debatable whether the gamble paid off, as despite winning the UEFA Champions League and an Intercontinental Cup in 2002, followed by La Liga in 2003, the club failed to win a major trophy for the next 3 seasons. Off the field, the Zidane's y Pavones policy resulted in increased financial success based on the exploitation of the club's high marketing potential around the world, particularly in Asia. The few days after the capturing of the 2003 La Liga title were surrounded with controversy. The first controversial decision came when Perez sacked winning coach Vicente Del Bosque. Over a dozen players left the club, including Madrid captain Fernando Hierro, while defensive midfielder Claude Makélélé refused to take part in training in protest at being one of the lowest paid players at the club and subsequently moved to Chelsea. "That's a lot when the normal rule is, never change a winning team," stated Zidane. Real Madrid, with newly appointed coach Carlos Queiroz, started their domestic league slowly after a hard win over Real Betis. The 2005-06 season began with the promise of several new signings: Julio Baptista, Robinho, and Sergio Ramos. However, Real Madrid suffered from some poor results, including a 0-3 loss at the hands of Barcelona at the Santiago Bernabéu in November 2005. Madrid's coach Juan Dorley Luxemburgo was sacked the following month and his replacement was Juan Ramón López Caro. A brief return to form came to an abrupt halt after Madrid lost the first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-finals 6-1 to Real Zaragoza, a defeat that was nearly reversed with a 4-0 home victory. Shortly after, Real Madrid were eliminated from the Champions League for a 4th successive year, this time at the hands of Arsenal. On February 27, 2006, Florentino Perez resigned. Ramón Calderón era. Ramón Calderón was elected as club president on July 2, 2006 and subsequently appointed Fabio Capello as the new coach and Predrag Mijatovic as the new sporting director. Real Madrid won the Liga title in 2007 for the first time in 4 years, but Capello was nonetheless sacked at the end of the campaign. The title was won on June 17, where Real faced Mallorca at the Bernabéu while Barcelona and Sevilla, the other title challengers, faced Gimnàstic de Tarragona and Villarreal, respectively. At halftime, Real were 0-1 down, while Barcelona had surged ahead into a 0-3 lead in Tarragona. However, 3 goals in the last half-hour secured Madrid a 3-1 win and their first league title since 2003. Real Madrid repeated as league winners in 2007-08, but the following season ended up being one of the most disastrous in the club's history, Real was knocked out of the Champions League at the round of 16 stage for the fifth time in a row, losing to Liverpool 0-5 on aggregate, and was embarrassed by Barcelona at the Santiago Bernabeu with a humiliating 2-6 loss, which all but confirmed the league title for Barca that went on to win the treble. Second Florentino Perez era. On June 1, 2009, Florentino Perez regained Real Madrid's presidency amid the outrage over the club's decline. Perez continued with the Galacticos policy pursued in his first term, buying Kaká from Milan for a record-breaking sum of £56 million, and then breaking the record again by purchasing Cristiano Ronaldo from Manchester United for £80 million. Real Madrid spent in excess of €261 million in the summer of 2009, and the assembled team was soon dubbed the Second Galacticos. The 2009-10 season, however, was a transitional one as Madrid again finished second in the league, although this time amassing 96 points, the club's record at the time, and went out of the Champions League at the hands of Lyon. The season was marred by Cristiano Ronaldo's injury, that sidelined him for 7 weeks, although he still topped the goal-scoring charts with 33 goals, and Madrid became the highest-scoring team in La Liga, with 102 goals. Real Madrid also had the misfortune to become the runners-up with the highest points total in the history of Europe's top 5 leagues, until surpassed by Liverpool's 97 points in 2018-19. José Mourinho took over as manager in May 2010. In the 2010-11 season, the rebuilt Madrid successfully fought on all fronts, going toe-to-toe with a brilliant Barcelona side which some regard as the greatest team in football history. Ultimately, Madrid finished second in the league, with 92 points and 4 behind their perennial rivals, defeated them in the Copa del Rey final, and lost to Barca in the Champions League semi-finals, where Real progressed to for the first time since 2002-03. Moreover, from April 16 through May 3, a rare occurrence happened when, for the first time ever, 4 Clásicos were to be played in a span of just 18 days. The first fixture was in the league campaign on April 16. The second one was in the Copa del Rey final on April 20 and the third and fourth ones in the controversial two-legged Champions League semi-finals on April 27 and May 3. Madrid again became the highest-scoring team in La Liga, with 102 goals, repeating its output from the previous season, with Ronaldo scoring 40 and winning the European Golden Shoe. In the 2011-12 season, Real Madrid won La Liga for a record 32nd time in its history, also finishing the season with numerous league records set, including 100 points amassed in a single season, a total of 121 goals scored, a goal difference of plus 89, 16 away games won, and 32 wins overall. They also competed in the UEFA Champions League for the 15th successive season, losing in the semi-finals to Bayern Munich in a penalty shootout after a 3-3 aggregate tie. Madrid entered the Copa del Rey as the defending champions, but lost 3-4 on aggregate in the quarter-finals to Barcelona. In the same season, Cristiano Ronaldo became the fastest player to reach 100 goals scored in Spanish league history. In reaching 101 goals in 92 games, Ronaldo surpassed Real Madrid legend Ferenc Puskás, who scored 100 goals in 105 matches. Ronaldo set a new club mark for individual goals scored in 1 year and became the first player ever to score against all 19 opposition teams in a single season. Real Madrid started the 2012-13 season by winning the Supercopa de España, defeating Barcelona on away goals. However, the Super Cup turned out to be their only trophy of the season, despite being close to win them all. Real finished runners-up to Barca in La Liga, accumulating 85 points, and reached the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League for the third year in a row, where they were eliminated by Borussia Dortmund 3-4 on aggregate. Madrid also entered the Copa del Rey in the round of 32, going on a memorable run to the final, which saw them defeat Barcelona in the semi-finals before losing to Atletico Madrid 1-2. Real Madrid faced the Blaugrana 6 times throughout the season, coming away with 3 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. A major transfer of the season was the signing of Luka Modric from Tottenham Hotspur for a fee in the region of £33 million. After a loss to Atletico in the Copa del Rey final, Perez announced the departure of José Mourinho at the end of the season by mutual agreement. I la décima/I and Champions League three-peat. None. Following Ronaldo's departure. Further domestic success and I la decimocuarta/I. None. Crests and colors. Crests. The first crest had a simple design consisting of a decorative interlacing of the 3 initials of the club, MCF for Madrid Club de Fútbol, in dark blue on a white shirt. The first change in the crest occurred in 1908 when the letters adopted a more streamlined form and appeared inside a circle. The next change in the configuration of the crest did not occur until the presidency of Pedro Parages in 1920. At that time, King Alfonso XIII granted the club his royal patronage, which came in the form of the title Real Madrid, meaning royal. Thus, Alfonso's crown was added to the crest and the club styled itself Real Madrid Club de Fútbol. With the dissolution of the monarchy in 1931, all royal symbols were eliminated. The crown was replaced by the dark mulberry band of the region of Castile. In 1941, 2 years after nationalist victory in the Civil War, the Francoist regime restored the crest's real corona, or royal crown, while the mulberry stripe of Castile was retained as well. In addition, the whole crest was made full color, with gold being the most prominent, and the club went back to its honorific name Real Madrid Club de Fútbol. The most recent modification to the crest occurred in 2001, when the club wanted to better situate itself for the 21st century and further standardize its crest. One of the modifications made was changing the mulberry stripe to a more bluish shade. Colors. Real Madrid has maintained the white shirt for its home kit throughout the history of the club. There was, however, one season that the shirt and shorts were not both white. It was an initiative undertaken by Juan Pedros in honor of an English team, Corinthian FC, which he had met on one of his trips, one of the most famous teams at the time known for its elegance and sportsmanship. It was decided that Real Madrid would wear black shorts in an attempt to replicate the English team, which had also inspired Madrid's original white kit, but the initiative lasted just 1 year. After being eliminated from the Cup by Barcelona with a 1-5 defeat in Madrid and a 2-0 defeat in Catalonia, President Parages decided to return to an all-white kit, claiming that the other kit brought bad luck. By the early 1940s, the manager changed the kit again by adding buttons to the shirt and the club's crest on the left breast, which has remained ever since. On November 23, 1947, in a game against Atletico Madrid at the Metropolitano Stadium, Real Madrid became the first Spanish team to wear numbered shirts. English club Leeds United permanently switched their blue shirt for a white one in the 1960s, to emulate the dominant Real Madrid of the era. Real's traditional away colours are all blue or all purple. Since the advent of the replica kit market, the club has also released various other one-color designs, including red, green, orange, and black. The club's kit is manufactured by Adidas, whose contract extends from 1998. Real Madrid's first shirt sponsor, Zanussi, agreed for the 1982-83, 1983-84 and 1984-85 seasons. Following that, the club was sponsored by Parmalat and Otesa before a long-term deal was signed with Tika in 1992. In 2001, Real Madrid ended their contract with Tika and for one season and used the realmadrid.com logo to promote the club's website. Then, in 2002, a deal was signed with Siemens Mobile, and in 2006, the BenQ Siemens logo appeared on the club's shirt. Real Madrid's shirt sponsor from 2007 until 2013 was BWIN.com following the economic problems of BenQ Siemens. Fly Emirates became their shirt sponsor in 2013, and in 2017 the club renewed the sponsorship with the airliner, signing a deal until 2022 worth €70 million per year. In 2022, the agreement was again extended, until 2026. In 2015, Madrid signed a new 10-year contract with Adidas, believed to be worth a total of £850 million, with the club earning £59 million per season. The contract includes a clause sanctioning penalty or agreement termination anytime, if Real Madrid fails to qualify for the European competitions or is relegated from La Liga. Kit suppliers and shirt sponsors. Kit deal. Grounds. After moving between several grounds, the team relocated to the Campo de O'Donnell in 1912, which remained its home stadium for 11 years. After this period, the club moved for 1 year to the Campo de Ciudad Lineal, a small ground with a capacity of 8,000 spectators. After that, Real Madrid started playing its home matches at the Estadio Camarón, which was inaugurated on May 17, 1923 with a match against Newcastle United. In this stadium, which hosted 22,500 spectators, Real Madrid celebrated its first Spanish league title. Following his election in 1943, President Santiago Bernabéu decided that the Camarón was not big enough for the ambitions of the club, and thus a new stadium was built and inaugurated on December 14, 1947. Initially known as Nuevo Camarón, the stadium was renamed in honor of Bernabéu in 1955 and continues to bear his name to this day. The first match at the Bernabéu was played between Madrid and the Portuguese club Belenenses, with Los Blancos winning 3-1 and Sabino Barrinaga scoring the first goal. The capacity has changed frequently, peaking at 120,000 after a 1953 expansion. Since then, there have been a number of reductions due to modernizations, countered to some extent by expansions. The latest capacity is 81,044 spectators. Real Madrid has the fourth highest average attendance in Europe, behind Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona, and Manchester United. The Bernabéu has hosted the 1964 UEFA European Championship Final, the 1982 FIFA World Cup Final, and the 1957, 1969, 1980, and 2010 European Cup/Champions League finals. The stadium has its own namesake Madrid Metro station along the 10 line. On November 14, 2007, the Bernabéu was upgraded to elite football stadium status by UEFA. On May 9, 2006, the Alfredo Di Stefano Stadium, named after club legend Alfredo Di Stefano, was inaugurated in the Real Madrid city, where Real Madrid usually trains. The inaugural match was played between Real Madrid and Stade de Reims, a rematch of the 1956 European Cup final. Real Madrid 6-1, with goals from Sergio Ramos, Antonio Cassano, Roberto Soldado, and José Manuel Jurado. The venue is now part of the Ciudad Real Madrid, the club's training facility located outside Madrid, in Valdebebas. The stadium's capacity is 5,000 people, and it is Real Madrid Castillo's home ground. For the latter part of the 2019-20 season and throughout the 2020-21 season, the stadium hosted the first team's home games due to a combination of the COVID-19 pandemic-triggered restrictions and an extensive renovation of the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. The latest renovation of the Santiago Bernabéu is set to increase the capacity by approximately 4,000 with the addition of an extra tier, bringing it to just over the 85,000 mark. Furthermore, the height will also be increased by 10 meters and a retractable roof, a retractable pitch, and a 360-degree screen will be installed. The works have started in 2019, and the renovated stadium was initially planned to be unveiled in 2022, However, the COVID-19 pandemic and Russian invasion of Ukraine caused significant disruption to supply chains, prompting the club to postpone the stadium's inauguration to 2023. Records and statistics. Raúl holds the record for most Real Madrid appearances, having played 741 first-team matches from 1994 to 2010. Iker Casillas comes second with 725 appearances, followed by Manuel Sanchez, Jr., having played 710 times. The record for a goalkeeper is held by Iker Casillas, with 725 appearances. With 189 caps, Cristiano Ronaldo is Real's most capped international player. Meanwhile, Sergio Ramos has accumulated the most caps while playing for the club, with 176. Cristiano Ronaldo is Real Madrid's all-time top goalscorer, with 450 goals in 438 matches. 6 other players have also scored over 200 goals for Real: Alfredo Di Stefano, Santillana, Ferenc Puskás, Hugo Sanchez, Karim Benzema, and the previous goal-scoring record holder Raúl. Cristiano Ronaldo also holds the record for the most league goals scored in one season, alongside being Real's top goal-scorer of all time in La Liga history with 311 goals. Di Stefano's 49 goals in 58 matches was for decades the all-time highest tally in the European Cup, until it was surpassed by Raúl in 2005, and is now held by Cristiano Ronaldo with 105 goals for Madrid and 140 overall. The fastest goal in the history of the club was scored by the Brazilian Ronaldo on December 3, 2003 during a league match against Atlético Madrid. Officially, the highest home attendance figure for a Real Madrid match is 83,329, which was for a Copa del Rey match in 2006. The current official capacity of the Santiago Bernabéu is 81,044. The club's average attendance in the 2007-08 season was 76,234, the highest in European leagues. Real has also set records in Spanish football, most notably the most domestic titles and the most seasons won in a row. With 121 matches, the club holds the record for longest unbeaten run at home in La Liga. The club also holds the record for winning the European Cup/UEFA Champions League 14 times and for the most semi-finals appearances. As of October 2022, Cristiano Ronaldo is the all-time top scorer in the UEFA Champions League, with 140 goals in total, 105 while playing for Real Madrid. The team has the record number of consecutive participations in the European Cup with 15, from 1955-56 to 1969-70. Among the club's on-field records is a 22-game winning streak in all competitions during the 2014-15 season, a Spanish record and 4th worldwide. The same season, the team tied the record-winning streak in the Champions League, with 10 games. In September 2017, the club equaled the record of the Brazilian club Santos, starring Pelé, by scoring in their 73rd consecutive game. In June 2009, the club broke its own record for the highest transfer fee ever paid in the history of football after purchasing Manchester United star Cristiano Ronaldo for €94 million. The fee of €77.5 million for Zinedine Zidane's transfer from Juventus to Real Madrid in 2001 was the previous highest transfer fee ever paid. This record had been broken previously in June 2009, for a few days, when Real Madrid agreed to buy Kaká from Milan for €67 million. The transfer of Tottenham Hotspur's Gareth Bale in 2013 was reportedly a new world record signing, with the transfer fee approximated at around €100 million. In January 2016, documents pertaining to Bale's transfer were leaked which confirmed a world record transfer fee of €100,759,418. Real Madrid equaled their record signing in 2019, when the club signed Eden Hazard from Chelsea for a reported €115 million. The club's record sale occurred on July 10, 2018, when Juventus signed Cristiano Ronaldo for €117 million. Support. During most home matches, the majority of the seats in the stadium are occupied by season ticket holders, of which the figure is capped at 65,000. To become a season ticket holder, one must first be a socio, or club member. In addition to members, the club has more than 1,800 peñas in Spain and around the world. Real Madrid has the second highest average all-time attendance in Spanish football and regularly attracts over 74,000 fans to the Bernabéu. One of the best supported teams globally, Real Madrid was the first sports team to reach 100 million fans on Facebook in April 2017. Real Madrid's hardcore supporters are the so-called Ultras Sur supporters, or simply Ultras. They are known for their extreme right-wing politics, akin to Barcelona's hardcore supporters group Boixos Noise. The Ultras Surs have developed an alliance with other right-wing groups, most notably Lazio Irreducibili fans, and have also developed an alliance with left-wing groups. On several occasions, they have racially abused opposing players and have been investigated by UEFA for doing so. Florentino Perez took it upon himself to ban the Ultras from the Bernabéu and assign their seats to the general public. This decision was controversial with some of the Bernabéu faithful, however, as the lively atmosphere of games would suffer as a result. The Ultras have since held protests outside the Bernabéu and have demanded to be reinstated and allowed to enter the grounds. Questioned over Pope Francis' adherence to 2014 FIFA Club World Cup final opponents San Lorenzo, Madrid captain Sergio Ramos stated, "In the semi-finals we noticed the love from supporters in Marrakesh and it seemed like we were playing at home. That sums up the greatness of this team. Madrid is God's team and the team of the world." Among the club's famous supporters is golfer Sergio Garcia, who was invited to take the honorary kickoff for El Clásico at the Bernabéu wearing his green jacket from winning the 2017 Masters. Rivalries. El Clásico. There is often a fierce rivalry between the two strongest teams in a national league, and this is particularly the case in La Liga, where the game between Real Madrid and Barcelona is known as the Clásic. From the start of national competitions, the clubs were seen as representatives of two rival regions in Spain, Castile and Catalonia, as well as of the two cities. The rivalry reflects what many regard as the political and cultural tensions felt between the Castilians and Catalans, seen by one author as a reenactment of the Spanish Civil War. Over the years, the record for Real Madrid and Barcelona is 100 victories for Madrid, 97 victories for Barcelona, and 52 draws. As early as the 1930s, Barcelona had developed a reputation as a symbol of Catalan identity, opposed to the centralizing tendencies of Madrid. During the dictatorships of Miguel Primo de Rivera and especially Francisco Franco, all regional languages and identities in Spain were frowned upon and restrained. As such, most citizens of Barcelona were in strong opposition to Franco's regime. In that period, Barcelona gained their motto Més que un club because of its alleged connection to Catalan nationalist as well as to progressive beliefs. There's an ongoing controversy as to what extent Franco's rule influenced the activities and on-pitch results of both Barcelona and Real Madrid. Fans of both clubs tend to exaggerate the myths favoring their narratives. Most historians agree that Franco did not have a preferred football team, but his Spanish nationalist beliefs led him to associate himself with the establishment teams, such as Atlético Aviación and Madrid FC. On the other hand, he also wanted the renamed CF Barcelona succeed as Spanish team rather than a Catalan one. During the early years of Franco's rule, Real Madrid weren't particularly successful, winning 2 Copa del Generalísimo titles and a Copa Eva Duarte. Barcelona claimed 3 league titles, 1 Copa del Generalissimo and 1 Copa Eva Duarte. During that period, Atlético Aviation were believed to be the preferred team over Real Madrid. The most contested stories of the period include Real Madrid's 11-1 home win against Barcelona in the Copa del Generalissimo, where the Catalan team alleged intimidation, and the controversial transfer of Alfredo Di Stefano to Real Madrid despite his agreement with Barcelona. The latter transfer was part of Real Madrid chairman Santiago Bernabeu's revolution that ushered in the era of unprecedented dominance. Bernabeu, himself a veteran of the Civil War who fought for Franco's forces, saw Real Madrid on top not only of Spanish but also European football, helping create the European Cup, the first true competition for Europe's best club sides. His vision was fulfilled when Real Madrid not only started winning consecutive league titles but also swept the first 5 editions of the European Cup in the 1950s. These events had a profound impact on Spanish football and influenced Franco's attitude. According to historians, during this time he realized the importance of Real Madrid for his regime's international image, and the club became his preferred team until his death. Fernando Maria Castiella, who served as Minister of Foreign Affairs under Franco from 1957 until 1969, noted that it is the best embassy we have ever had. Franco died in 1975, and the Spanish transition to democracy soon followed. Under his rule, Real Madrid had won 14 league titles, 6 Copa del Generalissimo titles, 1 Copa Eva Duarte, 6 European Cups, 2 Latin Cups and 1 Intercontinental Cup. In the same period, Barcelona had won 8 league titles, 9 Copa del Generalissimo titles, 3 Copa Eva Duarte titles, 3 Intercities Fairs Cups and 2 Latin Cups. The rivalry was intensified during the 1950s when the clubs disputed the signing of Alfredo Di Stefano. Di Stefano had impressed both Barcelona and Real Madrid while playing for Los Millonarios in Bogotá, Colombia, during a players' strike in his native Argentina. Soon after Millonarios returned to Colombia, Barcelona directors visited Buenos Aires and agreed with River Plate, the last FIFA-affiliated team to have held Di Stefano's rights, for his transfer in 1954 for the equivalent of 150 million Italian lira. This started a battle between the two Spanish rivals for his rights. FIFA appointed Armando Muñoz Calero, former president of the Spanish Football Federation, as mediator. Calero decided to let Di Stefano play the 1953-54 and 1955-56 seasons in Madrid, and the 1954-55 and 1956-57 seasons in Barcelona. The agreement was approved by the Football Association and their respective clubs. Although the Catalans agreed, the decision created various discontent among the Blaugrana members and the president was forced to resign in September 1953. Barcelona sold Madrid their half share, and Di Stefano moved to Los Blancos, signing a 4-year contract. Real paid 5.5 million Spanish pesetas for the transfer, plus a 1.3 million bonus for the purchase, an annual fee to be paid to the Millonarios, and a 16,000 salary for Di Stefano with a bonus double that of his teammates, for a total of 40% of the annual revenue of the Madrid Club. Di Stefano became integral in the subsequent success achieved by Real Madrid, scoring twice in his first game against Barcelona. With him, Madrid won the first 5 editions of the European Cup. The 1960s saw the rivalry reach the European stage when Real Madrid and Barcelona met twice in the European Cup, with Madrid triumphing en route to their 5th consecutive title in 1959-60 and Barcelona prevailing en route to losing the final in 1960-61. Ahead of the 1973-74 season, Johan Cruyff arrived to Barcelona for a world record £920,000 from Ajax. Already an established player with Ajax, Cruyff quickly won over the Barcelona fans when he told the European press that he chose Barcelona over Real Madrid because he could not play for a club associated with Francisco Franco. He further endeared himself when he named his son Jordi, after the local Catalan Saint George. In 2002, the European encounter between the clubs was dubbed the match of the century by Spanish media, and Madrid's win was watched by more than 500 million people around the world. A fixture known for its intensity and indiscipline, it has also featured memorable goal celebrations from both teams, often involving mocking the opposition. In October 1999, Real Madrid forward Raúl silenced 100,000 Barcelona fans at the Camp Nou when he scored before he celebrated by putting a finger to his lips as if telling the crowd to be quiet. In 2009, Barcelona captain Carles Puyol kissed his Catalan armband in front of Madrid fans at the Bernabéu. Cristiano Ronaldo twice gestured to the hostile crowd to calm down after scoring against Barcelona at the Camp Nou in 2012 and 2016. In April 2017, Messi celebrated his 93rd-minute winner for Barcelona against Real Madrid at the Bernabéu by taking off his Barcelona shirt and holding it up to incensed Real Madrid fans with his name and number facing them. Later that year, in August, Ronaldo was subbed on in the first leg of the Supercopa de España, proceeded to score in the 80th minute and took his shirt off before holding it up to Barca's fans with his name and number facing them. El Derbi Madrileno. The club's nearest neighbor is Atletico Madrid, a rivalry being shared between fans of both football teams. Although Atletico was founded by 3 Basque students in 1903, it was joined in 1904 by dissident members of Madrid FC. The two teams met for the first time on December 2, 1906 in the regional championship, with Real Madrid winning 2-1. Their first league meeting came on February 21, 1929 in match day 3 of the first league championship at the former Camp Nou. It was the first official derby of the new tournament, and Real won 2-1. After the Civil War, during the early Francoist period, Atletico became associated with the military air force, although the alleged preference of the regime for the club is subject to discussion. In any case, during this period Atletico became the most successful club in Spain, reducing the historical gap between the two clubs, until the regime preference shifted towards Real Madrid in the 1950s. As Franco sought to make political capital out of Real Madrid's multiple European Cup titles at a time when Spain was internationally isolated, one minister said, "Real Madrid are the best ambassadors we've ever had." Thus, Atletico fans regularly chanted that Real were el equipo del gobierno, la vergüenza del país, the team of the government, the shame of the country, and allegedly adopted a more left-wing slant. The rivalry first gained international attention in 1959 during the European Cup when the two clubs met in the semi-finals. Real won the first leg 2-1 at the Santiago Bernabéu, while Atletico won 1-0 at the Metropolitano. The tie went to a replay, which Real won 2-1. Atletico, however, gained some revenge when, led by former Real Madrid coach José Villalonga, it defeated its city rivals in 2 successive Copa del Generalissimo finals in 1960 and 1961. In the 1970s, Atletico again took the lead as the most successful Spanish club of the decade, which prompted the Real Madrid fanbase to look down on Atletico, calling them and their supporters indios. It is worth noting that by then, Real Madrid was not very keen on signing non-Caucasian players. Atletico's supporters accepted the new Indian nickname joyfully and have been using it until today. The Santiago Bernabéu, Real Madrid's stadium, is alongside banks and businesses on the upper-class Paseo de la Castellana Street, while the Vicente Calderón could be found near a brewery, alongside the Manzanares River and a motorway. Real draw greater support all across the region because of their historically greater resources and success, while Atletico have a relatively working-class fan base mainly from the south of the city, with some fans also scattered throughout the city. In fact, the Atletico crest includes the coat of arms of Madrid, whereas Real crest has no such a reference to the city. Between 1961 and 1989, when Real dominated La Liga, only Atletico offered it any serious challenge, winning league titles in 1966, 1970, 1973, and 1977. In 1965, Atletico became the first team to beat Real at the Bernabeu in 8 years. Real Madrid's record against Atletico in more recent times is very favorable. A high point came in the 2002-03 season, when Real clinched the La Liga title after a 4-0 victory at the Vicente Calderón. Atletico's first win over its city rivals since 1999 came in the Copa del Rey final in May 2013. In 2013-14, Real and Atletico were finalists of the UEFA Champions League, the first final which hosted two clubs from the same city. Real Madrid triumphed with a 4-1 comeback victory in extra time. On February 7, 2015, Real suffered their first defeat in 14 years at the Vicente Calderón, a 4-0 loss. On May 28, 2016, Real and Atletico again met for the Champions League title, which resulted in a win for Real after a penalty shootout at San Siro. El Viejo Clásico. A further minor rivalry exists between Real Madrid and Athletic Bilbao. This is known as El Viejo Clásico, so named as the two clubs were dominant in the first half of the 20th century, meeting in 9 Copa del Rey finals including the first in 1903. Until December 10, 2011, this fixture was the most played in the history of Spanish football, when it was surpassed by El Clásico. Athletic Bilbao, who operate a policy of only using local players, have long since ceased to be a competitive rival to clubs such as Real Madrid who scour the globe for the best talent. The Lions have collected no major trophies since 1984 and won only 2 of the 26 matches between the teams from 2005-06 to 2016-17. However, the matches remain keenly fought due to their historical and cultural significance, with some parallels to the political aspect of the Barcelona/Catalonia rivalry, as Athletic are the largest club in the Basque region. European rivalries. Bayern Munich. Juventus. Finances and ownership. It was under Florentino Perez's first presidency that Real Madrid started its ambition of becoming the world's richest professional football club. The club ceded part of its training grounds to the city of Madrid in 2001, and sold the rest to 4 corporations: Repsol YPF, Mutua Automovilística de Madrid, Cesar Valle Hermoso, and OL. The sale eradicated the club's debts, paving the way for it to buy the world's most expensive players, such as Zinedine Zidane, Luis Figo, Ronaldo, and David Beckham. The city had previously rezoned the training grounds for development, a move which in turn increased their value, and then bought the site. The European Commission started an investigation into whether the city overpaid for the property, to be considered a form of state subsidy. The sale of the training ground for office buildings cleared Real Madrid's debts of €270 million and enabled the club to embark upon an unprecedented spending spree which brought big-name players to the club. In addition, profit from the sale was spent on a state-of-the-art training complex on the city's outskirts. Although Perez's policy resulted in increased financial success from the exploitation of the club's high marketing potential around the world, especially in Asia, it came under increasing criticism for being too focused on marketing the Real Madrid brand and not enough on the performances of the team. By September 2007, Real Madrid was considered the most valuable football brand in Europe by BBDO. In 2008, it was ranked the second most valuable club in world football, at €951 million, only beaten by Manchester United, which was valued at €1.333 billion. In 2010, Real Madrid had the highest turnover in football worldwide. In September 2009, Real Madrid's management announced plans to open the club's own dedicated theme park by 2013. A study at Harvard University concluded that Real Madrid is one of the 20 most important brand names and the only one in which its executives, the players, are well known. We have some spectacular figures in regard to worldwide support of the club. There are an estimated 287 million people worldwide who follow Real Madrid. In 2010, Forbes evaluated Real Madrid's worth to be around €992 million, ranking them second only to Manchester United, based on figures from the 2008-09 season. According to Deloitte, Real Madrid had a recorded revenue of €401 million in the same period, ranking first. Along with Barcelona, Athletic Bilbao, and Osasuna, Real Madrid is organized as a registered association. This means that the club is owned by its supporters who elect the president. The president cannot invest his own money, and the club can only spend what it earns, which is mainly derived through sponsorships, commercial partnerships, merchandise sales, television rights, prize money, and ticket sales. Unlike a limited company, it is not possible to purchase shares in the club, but only a membership. The members of Real Madrid, called socios, form an assembly of delegates which is the highest governing body of the club. As of 2010, the club had 60,000 socios. At the end of the 2009-10 season, the club's board of directors stated that Real Madrid had a net debt of €244.6 million, €82.1 million lower than the previous fiscal year. Real Madrid announced that it had a net debt of €170 million after the 2010-11 season. From 2007 to 2011, the club made a net profit of €190 million. During the 2009-10 season, Real Madrid made €150 million through ticket sales, the most of any club in top-flight football. Real Madrid has the highest number of shirt sales per season, around 1.5 million. For the 2010-11 season, Madrid's wage bill totaled €169 million, which was second highest in Europe behind Barcelona. Furthermore, its wage bill to turnover ratio was the best in Europe at 43%, ahead of Manchester United and Arsenal at 46% and 50%, respectively. In 2013, Forbes listed the club as the world's most valuable sports team, worth $3.3 billion. Real Madrid was valued at €3.47 billion in 2018, and in the 2016-17 season it was the second highest earning football club in the world, with an annual revenue of €674.6 million. In November 2018, the average first-team pay at Madrid was £8.1 million per year, making it the second highest paid sports team in the world after Barcelona. In 2022, Forbes listed Real Madrid as the most valuable football club in the world, at $5.1 billion. Popular culture. Real Madrid was the featured club in the second installment of the Goal football movie trilogy, Goal 2, Living the Dream. The film follows former Newcastle United star Santiago Munez as he is first scouted, and then signed by Real Madrid for the 2005-06 season. The film's creators wanted to put emphasis on the changes in Munez's life after his move to Madrid. Production was done with the full support of UEFA, allowing the film crew to use many real-life players in cameo roles. Real Madrid squad members featured in the film included Iker Casillas, Zinedine Zidane, David Beckham, Ronaldo, Roberto Carlos, Raúl, Sergio Ramos, Robinho, Michael Owen, Michel Salgado, Julio Baptista, Steve McManaman, and Ivan Hilgera. Non-Real Madrid players to make cameo appearances included Ronaldinho, Thierry Henry, Lionel Messi, Samuel Eto'o, Andrés Iniesta, Pablo Aimar, Freddy Ljungberg, Cesc Fabregas, and Santiago Canizares. In the film, both Florentino Perez and Alfredo Di Stefano presented the fictional player Muniz to the club after his signing. Real, the movie is a 2005 part feature, part documentary film that showcases the worldwide passion for Real Madrid. Produced by the club and directed by Borja Manso, it follows 5 sub-stories of fans from around the world and their love for the club. Along with the fictional portion of the film, it also contains real footage of the squad, during training at Ciudad Real Madrid, matches, and interviews. Although the film mentions all of the squad, it mainly focuses on Galacticos such as David Beckham, Zinedine Zidane, Raúl, Luis Figo, Ronaldo, Iker Casillas, and Roberto Carlos, among others. The film was originally produced in Spanish, but has been dubbed for their worldwide fanbase. The book White Storm, 100 Years of Real Madrid by Phil Ball was the first English-language history of Real Madrid. Published in 2002, it talks about the most successful moments of the club during its first centenary, having been translated into various languages. In late 2011, Real Madrid released a digital music album, entitled Legends, and a remix of the club's anthem, Himno del Real Madrid, was released as the first single from the album. Real Madrid TV. Real Madrid TV is an encrypted digital television channel, operated by Real Madrid and specializing in the club. The channel is available in Spanish and English. It is located at Ciudad Real Madrid in Valdebebas, Real Madrid's training center. Hala Madrid/I. None. Video games. Real Madrid has appeared in many football-based video games, namely in the FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer series. A Real Madrid player has appeared on the cover of both titles a combined 7 times. In 2007, Spanish game publisher Virgin Play signed a deal with the club to make officially licensed Real Madrid video games. The only one released under the deal would end up being Real Madrid, the game, which was developed by Atomic Planet Entertainment and was published under Virgin Play's publishing division V.2 Play in May 2009 for the PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable, Windows, Wii and Nintendo DS exclusively in European territories. Virgin Play released their products in. The game featured a career mode with a mixture of role-playing and simulation as well as arcade-styled football gameplay. Honors. Shared record. Players. Spanish teams are limited to 3 players without EU citizenship. The squad list includes only the principal nationality of each player. Several non-European players on the squad have dual citizenship with an EU country. Also, players from the ACP countries in Africa, the Caribbean, and the Pacific that are signatories to the Cotonou Agreement are not counted against non-EU quotas due to the Call-Pack ruling. Current squad. As of September 2, 2022 NOTE, flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Reserve team. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Out on loan. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Personnel. Current technical staff. Management. See also: European Club Association. List of fan-owned sports teams.